Our guest today is Scott Payton, managing partner of Bowen Craggs in London. Scott's going to teach us everything we need to know about IR web pages. This is one of 5 vid guides I made with Scott on Brock Romanek today on Zippy Point. So Scott, for this next one, I know I came up with the title for this vid guide before we discussed you putting your content together. It's the top 8 things that should be standard on an IR web page, but aren't yet. But you've got 8, so that's
I've got 8.
Let's hear them.
You can see if I can count. I think I've got 8. Okay, so number 1, I'm just going to jump straight onto the web and just illustrate my points with some examples, if that's okay. So I'm going to go to a French construction company called Vinci, which we've seen in another video. And this is contentious. We've had some interesting debates with IR departments about this, but it's we would recommend, despite any reservations to the contrary, that you provide the direct telephone numbers and email addresses of each member of your investor relations team in the IR contact section of your IR site. Now, we know that some IR departments don't want to be, they're worried that they're going to be bombarded with frivolous and irrelevant phone calls or emails. But we would simply say that one way around that is to ensure that you provide clear alternative routes to to people outside the financial community, so they're less likely to call you up. But the investment community will greatly appreciate you providing specific telephone numbers and email addresses. And so we would argue, and a number of the companies that we work with would agree and have found this is the case in reality, that the benefits of providing individual contact details outweigh the potential pitfalls. Now, I would recommend that you actually go one step further than providing direct telephone numbers and email addresses, and provide links to the each IR team member's LinkedIn presence. Why not? I mean, LinkedIn continues to be to grow as a networking platform. Put it on there, and it's not going to be hidden if you don't. But it's you're saving impatient analysts and investors time by providing the link directly on the page. So that's number 1 of my 8 things that should be standard on an IR web page but aren't yet. And now I'm going to go to number 2, which is another French company, also a French company, AXA, and this is to provide Excel data downloads in your results archives. Now, the analysts many analysts that we speak to really appreciate data downloads because they can import them into their own models, and it's a cheap, simple, and easy way of improving your service to them. So, alongside your PDFs and your webcast, provide Excel data downloads, quick and easy. That's number 2. Number 3 is not quick and not always easy, but important. And that is to fully integrate your investor relations web presence with your main corporate website, with the rest of your corporate site. There's a number of reasons for this. Number 1, our research shows that fund managers and analysts are as likely to visit you online to find out qualitative information about your company as they are to get purely investor relations material. So that material could be housed in the About section, it could be housed in the News section, it could be housed in the Products and Services section. So if you're siloing the investor relations content on a separate website, you're making your audience work harder than they need to get a rounded picture of your company. And another point, our research shows that investors and analysts are very likely to visit your web presence to get the stuff that they can't get elsewhere. They can't get them from Bloomberg, and that's the executive biographies. That's articles about a newly relaunched strategy. It's that qualitative stuff, which isn't just housed in the investor relations section. And a similar point is the investor relations section isn't just going to be visited by investors and analysts. So people who start, job seekers, they'll visit your careers section first, but they're going to want to also visit the investor relations section. So it should be part of a coherent web presence. It shouldn't be siloed. And as we see environmental and social issues increasingly being taken seriously by mainstream investors, and their CSR, ESG issues are becoming increasingly factored into investment decisions, then that's a lot of that content at the moment is going to be in a separate section called corporate responsibility. So this is a really important point. Now, in the United States, a lot of it's for a number of reasons. There are more separate IR sites than there are in Europe, and they're often run by third parties. But I can just show you this example. This is Target's. This is the investor relations section, and I'm not sure if you can see here, but it is on a separate dedicated URL, investors.target.com. But they have cleverly integrated it into the corporate site, so it's got a consistent primary navigation menu with the rest of the site. So from the user's perspective, it's part of the corporate site, even though actually technically it sits on a separate platform. So that's number 3. I'm going to go to number 4. We're back to quick and easy. In your results archive, provide transcripts of results calls and investor presentations. Now, this is good accessibility. It's good practice generally to provide transcripts of audio and video content. But also, we've talked to a bunch of analysts who say they don't want to if they've missed a webcast, if they've missed a results presentation, they don't want to watch the video and scroll through and wait for the nuggets of information that they're looking for. Much better to call up a transcript and just do a keyword search, and they can quickly jump to the information they need. So put transcripts of your results calls in your results archive. I think I'm on number 4. And I'm going to stay with AXA now for number 5. This is something that, in our view, should be standard practice, but is still quite rare. And that's when it comes to the webcast, don't oblige visitors to type in their name and their address and their dog's name and their email details before they can watch the webcast. Now, investor relations departments like that because they can harvest the information. They can get some data and insight into who's watching. But that comes at a great cost in terms of irritating impatient investors and analysts. And in this age of increasing concerns over data privacy, people are less and less happy about relinquishing their personal data. And it's a pain. No one likes a web form. So I can just prove that it can be done. I'm in the results archive of this investor relations section, and I'm going to click webcast. I hope this works. I'm in, and I haven't given my email address or my telephone number. Just do that. Get rid of registration gates. Everybody hates them. Am I on number 6 now? I think. Yeah, I'm on number 6. This is simple, and I'm going to stop sharing now. When it comes to PDF annual reports, any kind of long PDF report that you put on your website, hyperlink the contents page. It's that simple. That makes it nice and quick and easy for users just to jump to the chapter or the section they need. As simple as that. It's amazing how many companies don't just take the time to hyperlink the contents page of their annual report. It's very quick. It's also good accessibility as well. It makes annual reports easier for sight impaired and for people using screen readers and so on. So do that. That's number 6. Number 7. Lots of companies make the mistake of every year they delete the older sections of their results archives. So they keep it fixed. It's a maximum of 10 years. And the next year rolls down, they delete the older. They'll delete 2011, and then the next year they'll delete 2012. A lot of people come to the IR section of your website to conduct deep research. So let those results archives grow and grow and grow over time. Make them as deep as possible. And that's true for press release archives, for results archives, for archives of AGM materials. Make them as deep as possible and don't delete them. And now number 8, I'm on number 8. I've lost count, I think, but I'm now on number 8. I'm pretty confident I'm on number 8.
Yes.
Provide HTML, so web page versions of earnings releases. Don't just provide PDFs. That's because a growing number of people are going to be accessing your results archive on a mobile device, on a mobile phone. And as everybody probably knows, that PDFs can be pretty awkward to access and view on a mobile. So provide a web as well as PDF version of your earnings releases, and indeed make sure that the whole IR presence is mobile friendly. That's number 8.
Thanks so much, Scott. Now, for annual meetings, AGM transcripts, I do have a separate Vid-Guide for some examples in the US where some companies do that, but it's not a common practice at all. A lot of companies make transcripts of their annual meetings to see for their own informational purposes, but they don't post them online. But I think it's a good practice to do that, particularly now with virtual meetings here in the US. At least there's a greater institutional investor interest in the annual meeting. And so to the extent they could quickly look and see if anything happened at the annual meeting that's worth them knowing. But it's so easy these days to create a transcript, to clean it up a little bit. It takes a little bit of work, but otherwise there's free transcription sites. You don't even have to pay anything.
Absolutely, and the same is true for quarterly results calls, and also any videos, anything that's audio and video. Transcribe it and put it up online.
Yeah, in my last job for the webcast I did, we always created a transcript, and we did clean it up, and that was a bit of work. I'm not doing that for these videos, but it would be nice to have, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, Scott.
It's a pleasure.